Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me all right? Nice. Okay. So we want to make sure we've got screen share going on okay. It's popping in. We'll see. Thinking about it. Okay, so in the meantime, while we're trying to get the screen share going, it says I'm sharing screen, but I'm not seeing. Are you guys seeing it? No.
Yes, we can see the first slide of
You
your
can.
presentation. Yes.
Excellent. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, my name's Shirley Purcell. I wanted to say hello to everyone, let you know that my coworker and friend Nicole is on here. She's going to be answering questions if they pop into the chat. Um, so also today is 10/19, and at 10/19, my center is having an earthquake drill. So I don't think it'll affect our presentation at all, but if we start hearing things, that's what it is. But anyway, I'm happy to share with everyone today about Job Corps. I'm super excited to be here. So let's just jump in and get started about Job Corps. Um, First of all, whoops, okay, so
We lost
let's see if
your
I can get this.
presentation.
We
Just
lost, oh, are you back? Is it back?
not yet.
Not yet. Let's try again. Let's see if we go share screen. See what's going on here. There, you see it now?
Yes. Yes, Shirley, we are having some audio issues. So thank you, Christopher. Shirley, would you mind turning off your camera? Maybe that will help with your connection. Shirley, can you hear us? Can you hear me? We can't hear you. Thank you. Let's see what we can do here. We'll pause the recording.
We're excited to share with you about Job Corps. So I'm going to jump right in and tell you that Job Corps is for young adults ages 16 to 24. We are a program put out by the Department of Labor. The idea is that we want to train up youth to be part of the workforce instead of like mooching off of society. We want them to be able to join the workforce and be proud of what they do. So
Shirley, I'm so sorry.
I want to interject before I go any further that at 10:19, which is today, at 10:19 in the morning, my center has chosen to have an earthquake drill. I don't think it will impact anything about our presentation, but I did want to let you know that that may occur. We might hear something, but we'll see. Okay, let's get going here. And you guys can still see my screen.
No, we can't.
We
can't see the screen.
You cannot. Oh my goodness, we're just having all kinds of issues, aren't we? All right, let's see here. Okay, now can you see it?
Yes, we can see the screen and we can hear you. Thank you so much. Yay! Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thanks for your patience. Okay, so first of all, we bring students in, whether they have completed high school or not, doesn't make a difference. They can complete high school here, earn a GED, or get a high school diploma. When they're here, they can be a completer by either completing high school or completing their certificate training, or they can be a dual completer and complete both. We also try to train our young people how to adult. I know that sounds a little strange, but that's so many times we get students here and they just don't have any idea how to live as an adult. So that's part of what we're helping them with. The academic side is ability paced, so it's self-paced. So when they ask us how long does it take to complete a trade, that really depends on their own personal motivation. They will spend quite a bit of time, both with hands-on, but also in front of a computer and with textbooks and learning. We are very, let's see, how do I say, we put a lot of emphasis on accountability here, both on behavior, but on how they live and function as a team, work as an environment, because we really want our center to mimic what a job place works like. So they function kind of like a really large family when we live on campus, and we'll explain more of that here in a little bit. But so we work on relationships and ethics, communication, independent living. They have chores on campus, career, personal planning. Again, this is all part of those soft skills that a lot of our students that come to us need to learn how to live independently, and that's part of what we train them when they're with us. So our step-by-step process has 5 phases. The first one is my office. So outreach and admissions, this is they apply, they get through all the background checks. When they first arrive on center, we have 5 weeks of a lot of those soft skills classes, like how to dress professionally, how to act professionally. Let's talk about what we put on a resume. And then once they finish that, they go into their actual career preparation period. This is when they're starting to work on their academics or their academics and trade. Then when they're about 90 days from completing the program, we work with them on helping them find transportation, housing, and a job for their future. And then obviously we want to send them out into the workforce, and we follow up. If they are a completer, they get 12 to 15 months of continual support from our career transitions team. If they're a former enrollee, which means they left our program before they completed, they still get 3 months of help with trying to find a job, transportation, and living places to live. So there are some things about our program that determine the eligibility, and I'm going to go right to this slide. So when I said they have to be ages 16 to 24, that can be extended if the person has any kind of disability.
Can you hear me, Shirley? I'm sorry, we lost the screen again.
We lost the screen again. Let's see, what is going on? Okay, there it is. Do you see it?
Yes, yes. Now we can see.
What is going on? Okay, so that age limit can be extended past the age of 24 if there's any kind of diagnosed disabilities involved. Obviously, they have to be a U.S. resident. We are a program for low or disadvantaged students, but if there, again, is a disability of any kind, that negates the need for low income. And basically, they have to be willing to come on center and follow directions, earn their trade, and they're in. And probably the best thing about our program is everything's free. And that is just kind of a godsend for so many students who don't have any other opportunity really to progress in life if finances are going to be the thing that stops them from being able to move forward. So let's see if when I switch slides, if you're going to lose it. Can you still see it?
Yes, we can see low income qualification. Good. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps dropping sometimes, but okay. So we talked about the income qualifications, so we'll keep going on there. Low income can be anything from like being on free or reduced lunches, being on any public assistance, if you're in the foster care system, obviously if you're deemed homeless, or if you've been a victim of severe human trafficking, any of that makes them qualify for our program as far as the low income part is that required. We obviously have to gather documents that substantiate this, so we ask for birth certificate, social security card, like tax returns, these types of things. to just substantiate that the students qualify. We do run a triple background check. They have to be clear of all current court proceedings, including they cannot be on probation. But outside of felonies of murder, child abuse, and crimes involving rape or assault, it doesn't matter if there's a criminal background. As long as all charges and court cases are clear, they can still qualify for the program. So again, once they get to our center, they are going to be doing the TABE testing. We've heard other people talk about TABE tests, the test of adult basic education. We want them to have at least a 9th grade reading and math level when they leave here, because we want to send them out into the workforce with a high enough reading and math skills that they can be a good productive worker, right? Sometimes we do get students who have a high school diploma, but they still don't have very high reading and math skills. So we want to guarantee that everyone that leaves here has at least that 9th grade level. So we do have a very strict zero tolerance policy. Obviously no drugs, alcohol, anything like that on center or under center supervision. I'm not going to go through our whole zero tolerance policy, but it's pretty much laid out very specifically so the students know their expectations very clearly when they arrive. We do have a dress code, but most of the time, Monday is our professional day, so you'll see our students dress up very professionally on Monday like they were going to a job interview. Most of the other days, they're dressed to fit their trade because, again, we want our center to mimic what they would work in a real job setting. So culinary students are wearing their culinary gear. You might see hard hats for our other hard hat trades. You might have like our security protective services wearing their all black and some of their badge and some other things like that around center. So it's pretty easy to tell what students are doing what trades. Okay, so the career development period, they're going to earn their trade credential as well as high school or GED if they haven't earned that yet. One other great thing we do with the students is we help them get a driver's license. They don't even have to have their permit before they get here. We have an instructor that helps them with the class bookwork, also earning their permit and their driving hours to get a driver's license. Then we help them with independent living and career success. Again, we have great partnerships to help them find homes and jobs, and we actually work with a couple of car dealerships that help our students get loans if they don't have a mode of transportation. And we have links to help them get into the military, as well as going to Matsu Community College for 2 years for free. They can continue to live here on center and be transported over if they want to continue their college education that way. Or they can go on to advanced training in one of the other centers and Job Corps has in the lower 48. There are another 121 centers, and some of them specialize in each of our 8 trade areas. So they can leave us with a certificate and go on and finish more training in the lower 48 for advanced technical training. Okay, so let's see. Oh yes, I mentioned they could do the GED or they could also get the high school diploma. That's up to them, whichever way they want to go. So we're going to dive in and talk about the trades. All of our trades have to be able to lift a reasonable amount of weight. They have to be able to bend, push, these types of things. They also have to be able to communicate and function, and that's one of the things I wanted to say about our students with disabilities. We do everything we can to accommodate students who come to our center with disabilities because we are a government federal program. We want to give everyone an equal opportunity, and so we have students who have various physical disabilities that we try to accommodate, and we don't want that to be a barrier for any of our students who want to come to Job Corps. All right, let's see. Okay, so first we have building construction technology. So we used to have here just straight carpentry on center, and We changed over a few years back to building construction technology because it encompasses actually more trades kind of built into one. And so that's one of our trades. Then we have electrical. We have a lot of students who like our electrical program. One of the questions I get often on these electrical and welding is they're typically run at pretty full classes. Post-COVID, we're rebounding our numbers on center, and so we're asked, do we have a wait list? Most of the time, we don't have a wait list per se, because when students come in, if the class is full, they're focusing on their academics until they can move more into the trade and academic balance. So we don't, right now, we can just bring all of our applicants and we don't have what would probably be perceived as a true wait list. But when we do academics and trade, they do 1 week of academics alternating with 1 week of trade. That way, they don't get too tired of any one thing and they can mix it up and it doesn't get too humdrum for them. We do have welding. People absolutely love our welding program. We have a new welding facility and we have students who come here totally looking forward to their future in welding. We have 2 medical fields. One is the CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant, and then we have the Clinical Medical Assistant. I often tell people that the Clinical Medical Assistant is a little bit more deep, you know, into some math and some actually more, instead of assisting type things, more hands-on things, but both can lead them to a career if they want to go on to become an LPN or an RN. These are great stepping stones for that. Culinary arts. Our students do a lot of activities here in the Valley as far as catering events and cooking for things on our center. They do a great job and absolutely have a phenomenal culinary arts program. Our security and protective services falls under the Homeland Security field. It's a great first step for companies who are trying to hire safety and security patrol people. Also, people take this program as a precursor to just going straight into the police force. We have a lot of students who go have jobs for this before they ever even leave our center, so we're very proud of that. There's a few barriers to that, but I won't go over all those details with you right now. But then kind of our highlight of our center is water wastewater treatment. And the reason I say it's the highlight is we are the only one of our Job Corps centers out of the 120 plus Job Corps centers that offer water wastewater treatment. So we have students who come up from the lower 48 to take this program. And because it's so specialized and necessary for clean water, and like lots of our students want to be able to go back and help their villages and in their homes and other places with this very necessary issue. So there's 5 certifications that can be earned under the water wastewater treatment certification program. So let's talk a little bit about what living on center looks like. So we have a men's dorm and a women's dorm. If we were at maximum capacity, we would have about 225 students. We are rebounding from COVID, where obviously we had to send all of our students home. So as of this week, we're at about 168 students. Almost all of those are living on center. And that's our program is built for everyone to live on center. We have 4 students per room, and they have a bathroom that is in their bedroom suite. They are all required to take care of their space daily, to clean their bathrooms, make their beds, vacuum their halls. They have a rotating list of chores because, again, this is our home, and so they are learning these life skills. If they don't do their cleaning and other responsibilities, there would be consequences. One might be that they might lose their weekend pass. So in so saying, we are an on-center, let's see how I say it. We work on center Monday through Friday. Their classes are 8 to 3:50. And in the afternoons and evenings, We have lots of activities, which we'll talk about, but they're not allowed to leave center Monday through Friday until the training day is over on Friday. Then they can have a weekend pass and they can leave for the weekend. They can go visit family or friends or do whatever they want when they leave, except if they're a minor, then that involves parental approval and so forth. But our students that are above 18 have weekend passes. You can see here the curfew and lights out and type of thing. So again, we're trying to teach them to get in a good groove and vibe for going to bed at a reasonable time, getting up and being accountable the next day for class type of thing. We want them to be prepared for the real world of workforce. So here's a picture of our dorm room and the atrium. We have an atrium in both the men's and women's dorm. They can play video games, watch TV, movies, etc. They can also bring their own personal devices that they can have in their rooms. They just cannot be on their cell phones during the training days. Our dining hall is amazing. It serves at least 2 entree options for every meal. There's always a salad bar. There's a great breakfast bar. We have great cooks and culinary students, and we don't have really any complaints about our cafeteria food. It's not your typical, school food. We do help work with students who have limitations for dietary needs. So we do our best to kind of serve everyone that way. Since our students come here and they cannot have their own vehicles, so once they arrive, we don't want them to be bored out of their minds. So our rec center is super active. We have sign-up sheets for almost every evening after trade day. There's buses going out to do activities. So it might be we're going to go to Fruitland and get a smoothie and run to Target. Or we're going to go hike the Butte. Or we're going to go hike around to Clutna Lake. Or we're going to go to the Alaska State Fair. So we constantly have off-center activities offered. We also offer, as you can see here, lots of things on center. We have an arts and crafts area where we rotate people come through. And we try to do a lot of the native arts and other things as well. We are having basketball played constantly in our gym. People are rock climbing. We're now doing once a month on center bonfires, which is just a free evening of play and have fun. So we offer lots of activities for them during the week when they can't leave center. So they do need to be accountable and in class all 5 days. They can earn PTO. For every 30 days they're here, they earn 1 day of PTO. Again, we're trying to mimic what it's like in the real world. And so they can have PTO days where if they want an extended weekend with their family or something like that. We do have community service. They do help in the community. They also help on center. So we have students mowing the lawn and students help paint buildings and students hanging up Christmas lights and changing out vacuum cleaner bags and all of this again. So they're constantly raising their status on center from an entry level to up to leadership positions, again, as you would in the real work world. So, at least 90 days before leaving Job Corps is the other part of my office, the Career Transition Services, starts to talk about what do you really want to do when you get your certification? Where do you want to go from here? Do you want, all along we've been asking, are you college bound or do you want to go to advanced training? But when it's 90 days from the end, it's getting serious and they need to really make a decision. So we're going to ask them again, okay, so are you moving back home? And if so, do you have a plan for where you want to live? Do you have transportation? And some have a very definitive plan and some have no clue what they want to do. So this is when we really start working with them to plan next steps. Because it's scary going out into the big world and trying to figure out what I'm legitimately going to do when I leave this center. So we want to partner with them and have a success plan before they leave. Here are the things that we offer regarding career. So entry-level job is probably what 60% of our students go straight out to an entry-level job. A few do continue their education through college. We have 1 or 2 right now that have left us recently and gone into the military. I mentioned they remain in contact with our career transition specialist. She reaches out to them no less than every 30 days to just say, hey, are you working? What can I do for you? You know, do you like your job? We do try to track their job placement because, again, we are a government program, and we wouldn't be able to tell if we were successful if we couldn't tell if we were training them and they were getting jobs and keeping their jobs. So we track their jobs. We communicate with their employers. We verify their pay, and every time they get a pay raise or an upgrade of any kind, we want to know that because we want to be able to submit that back and say, hey, this student is doing great, thriving, or whatever. So we do, and I want to throw this in here. You'll see this transition allowance. You will see or hear that students get paid for being at Job Corps. So as I said, every single thing with Job Corps is free. If they live in a far off village, we will fly them here. We fly them home for a 3-week holiday break, and then we fly them back here. There's no cost to them. There's no cost for room and board. There's no cost being in the program. They can be here for 2 years maximum. When they are here and they complete the first 5 weeks of training, then we take them on their first shopping trip. They get to spend $100 on anything that they need or want. Most of the time we encourage them, you know, if you need a pair of gloves for the winter, this type of thing. We allow them to bring 50 pounds of their own clothes and goods, and we provide them with everything that they need for their trade, whether it's clothing or hard-toed shoes. We provide all of that. They do get paid. We do pay them through like a little card that we can add money to their card. Now, it's not a lot. So in the first, I think it's the first 180 days they're here, they get $40 every 2 weeks with taxes taken out because, again, we're pretending it's the real world. And they can spend that money on anything they want. On a shopping trip, they can save it, whatever. If they are a completer, and they finished high school and or a trade, then they do get paid a transition allowance when they move out, and they get a second shopping trip to prepare them for life after our center. Again, it's not a lot, but it's showing what it's like to prepare for the next step, right, in your life. Some of these students that we have come, they have zero idea of budgeting or how much it costs to live, and so we really are trying to work with them to understand the reality of it and encouraging them to save their PFD funds to prepare for when they leave here. It's an ongoing process, right? We're all learning to get better and better with budgeting and our time and these things. So we're helping our young people learn how to face the future and be aware of what's coming for them when it comes to having to pay the bills. So basically, we don't ask a lot of our students other than come with a good attitude and follow the policies. We encourage them when they get here, stay away from the drama, be good to your body, alcohol and drug free, and be open to change. Some of them have never left their homes or villages before, and this is like culture shock, but we have beautiful, safe, enclosed campus. It's like our own little community, and if we can get them here and help them see the possibilities, they can be completely ready for their future and have a great 2 years here for free and walk away just without any debt of any kind. So I'm not going to go through the whole application process with you, but I will say from the time we get an interest form, usually through our website, to the time we send an application, it's filled out, we get all the documents back, and we run the background checks. That might take 30 to 60 days, depending on how fast the applicant returns the information we need. Once the application is complete, we send it to our wellness center, because we want to be sure that we can accommodate any physical or emotional needs that the student may have before they arrive on center. So sometimes we have to send a release of authorization to a doctor's office to gather records and so forth. But so usually within 2 months, 2.5 months from the beginning to the end, we could have an applicant that has been officially accepted. Unlike other traditional schools, we don't bring students in on semester. We have inputs, as we call them, every other week. So we could have a student who is accepted this week arrive mid-November. And so that way they don't have to wait until January. They can get here and start. And like I said, we do have a 3-week holiday that for us begins December 13th. So they are all sent home, and we fly them home, and we fly them all back, so they can spend time with their families and friends over the holidays. We do not have a summer break, so we educate year-round. And so when I say 2 years, it literally is 2 years, including, you know, from the start date all the way through. And depending on which trade they choose will depend on how long they'll be here. Our water wastewater trade takes the longest. It's almost always right at the 2 years. But CNA, if they already had their high school diploma when they got here, they could finish that in less than a year. So it just depends on how self-motivated they are and what all they need to work on, if they need to raise their math scores, their reading scores, etc. So, all right. We do encourage our students, if they have their insurance, to stay on it, but we have a clinic here on campus that services all of their needs. We have a doctor who comes in every week. We have mental therapists that come in every week. We have dentists that comes in. So unless it's a major medical situation, we can service almost all of their needs in our clinic here on center. And so there's our little contact information, but yeah, so I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I'm sure there were other things that, okay, let me look here. Do you have, so we got the flyer up there. Do you have statistics by region of who attends? Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about regions of Alaska, but let me clarify just a moment. Job Corps at large has 6 regions. So our region is basically us in Alaska, and our center here in Palmer is our only Job Corps in Alaska. And then it's pretty much the West Coast. So yeah, straight down the West Coast. We're called the San Francisco region. And when a student comes here and wants a trade that we don't offer, let's just say they want something in IT, and we don't offer that right now. We still do the application process here in Alaska because the student lives in Alaska. But then we find the nearest center in our region, pretty much down the West Coast, that offers what they are seeking. And we transfer their application to that center, and we fly the student for free to that other center. So again, it's just an amazing program, you know, to get students to whatever trade they are interested. And if we had a student come recently who wanted, I believe it was straight up carpentry. It was, there were 2 options of centers. One was in Florida, and oh, for the life of me, I can't remember where the other one was, but they were quite a ways away, and he wanted true carpentry. And we helped him get to one of these other centers that offered that exact thing that he wanted. We have a student on center now who has some significant disabilities, and it's not working out for him to do any of the trades that we offer. He's not happy with them, but he really wants to do something with IT or technology. And we're like, hey, we can find you a center that will accommodate your needs, that will help you do what you really want to do. And so we're in the process of transferring him to a different center that will be what he really wants to do. But as far as your exact question, we have students from every single pocket of the state. It surprises me when I when I do our interviews with our students and we ask, where are you from? And they say a name of a village, of course, I've never heard of them, you know, and I'm like, okay, where's that? And they'll say, well, it's 50 miles from Bethel, or it's this far from Nome, or whatever. They come from everywhere. And that's one of the things I get so excited about our program is there is no financial barrier to get here. And I want to say that if something happens when our students are here, whether they have a crisis at some point, a physical something happens, an emotional breakdown, or anyone in their immediate family has a crisis, we will fly them home. And they can go on what's called MSWR. It's a 6-month pause in the program. We've had students who come to us who either are pregnant or get pregnant when they're here, and they go on MSWR to finish their pregnancy or have their child, and then they come back and pick right up where they left off. So we know life happens no matter where you're from, and so we want to work with them in getting them back to their families if, you know, something happened with a parent or a grandparent or something like that. So, yeah, I'm super pleased to know that we can be of service. And it's funny, this Bering Straits region, we just had a group visit yesterday from the Bering Straits School District. We had 4 students who came from 4 different schools up there, and I think they came with 6 adults with them, and they were all, you know, like 1-on-1 with their different schools, and it was really fun to take the tour of the campus with them, and so yeah, we get them from all over. Yep. So does anyone have any other questions I can answer for you? Not seeing anything else pop in. Okay, trying to think if there's anything major that I didn't share with you.
Shirley, this is Dominica. I apologize if I missed that. So how many students do you currently have on campus?
As of this week, we have 168. But again, we bring students in every 2 weeks, and I think we're scheduled to bring in another 18 next week. So we're hoping by the end of November we'll be close to 200. Our maximum is about 225.
Okay, thank you.
But we have students who complete constantly, right? Because it's a self-paced program. So we have students who complete. So as we circle them in, we have students leaving as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, great presentation. Thank you so much. Even though we experienced all these technical challenges at the beginning, I'm glad we were able to figure it out. You did, so thank you for that. Thank you for sharing this information with us, and welcome to the ACAC family.
Well, thank you, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions anyone has. They can just reach out, and we'll be glad to answer your questions.
Thank you.